Okay, I'm going to show y'all some things here as a hunter, some things to look for as far as tracking. There's some pretty fresh hog rooting. They've been in here for long. This is pretty fresh. So always kick it around, you can see how fresh it is. So you can see how fresh mine was there. The rest of it's starting to dry a little bit. So it could have been done during the night. So see, there's the hog tracks right there. Excuse me. The hog tracks are usually thicker like that. Usually thicker and sometimes more rounded than the deer tracks are. Alright, so here's that deer track. And then it looks like right there's another that stepped right there. It didn't sink down as fast. It didn't sink down as hard. But that's the next step right there. You can see a little of it. The ground's harder right there. The sand's harder. The one thing I do like to do is use the green flashlight in the low light situations. Which here I can see the deer track really good. And it's almost too much. It's almost too much light now for this light to work good. I don't think it really makes it look any brighter or any better. But using the sun and the sunlight, and sometimes it's easier to use the shade. If you should get shade on a track, sometimes it's easier to see. It's funny. I'm going to come around here and put some shade on it. Alright, so I'm blocking out the sun so you can see the track now. How it looks with it shaded. And then if I move with the sun hitting it. So when you're tracking, you can try different things like that. The green flashlight, putting that on it, or moving a little, so that you're getting the sunlight on it, or so that you're shading it. And doing things like that can help you see the tracks better. Alright, here's something else I can show you too. Alright, so here's a raccoon track. So you can see when I block out the light, it makes it hard to see. When I let the sunlight back, it makes it easier to see it. Alright, so these were done when it was wetter here. See what I'm doing here? I'm seeing how much force it takes to make that. So the raccoon's not that heavy. He's not that heavy to make the amount of force that I'm making right now. So this was actually wetter and softer when that raccoon walked through here. See, that's on rocks there. See, I'm having to put a good amount of force to make the make it go as deep as what the raccoon did. So that raccoon walked through here when this was wetter. So that's been several days ago. Well, today's Saturday. It rained good Wednesday night. So that would have been a couple days ago that that raccoon walked through there. And then that started drying up. Because it's harder now. That ground's harder. It's taking a good amount of force for me to go as deep as that raccoon track. This is a good spot to do it at. Because you see this has got there's a lot of shadows out here. All out through these trees and palmettos, there's a lot of shadows out in here. This is a good spot to show this part. So you got a lot of shadows and sun and shadows and sun. So what I was wanting to show you here is look and watch real close all the different shadows and watch for a shadow to move. That's one thing that I always did as a hunter. You watch for a shadow to move, and then usually you would see a deer. Once you saw a shadow, it looked like a shadow moving, then you could spot a deer. Because the deer blend in really good too. So whether we were just whether I was just out here walking and hunting, just stalking and still hunting, or sitting in a tree stand, you always look around and watch for shadows and watch for them to move. Then once you see a shadow moving, then watch that spot, and you usually see a deer moving, or you could see something else. So this is a good spot to show that. Always watch around, always look up in the trees. Always stay aware and listen. Listening to the birds. The birds will give away stuff sometimes. If they start getting distressed, and they can give away something's position, or let you know something's close by. But watching the shadows out here is what I wanted to show you right now. And then we'll keep going on with the video. So out here tracking, you can see we wear the snake bite boots. And we're watching the ground ahead of us as we go through here to make sure we don't run across a water moccasin or a rattlesnake. And this log's really not big enough to show you, but when you get up to a log, you want to look over and make sure there's not a snake on the backside. But that's not really big enough for to really show you that good. But you do want to not just step across the log. You want to look over and make sure there's not a snake on the other side of it there, up under it. Alright, so I'm out here by myself today, getting my game cameras here in another spot, getting another game camera and audio recorder. So I'm handling the cameras. I'm still using all the same cameras and just kind of switching back and forth here. Alright, another thing I want to talk about in this video is food sources. As far as animals to watch what's around you, to know the animals that are around you and what they're eating, and also what we can eat as far as survival. So these palmettos here, so you can pull the very end of this out. Down there at the very end of this, you can pull that out, and there's going to be about an inch or so. It's just about like cabbage that you can eat. But you want to wear gloves. You want to make sure you carry gloves with you. So I'm hearing some gunshots back there. I wonder if they're dove hunting. Okay, as far as food sources too, this is wild blackberries. You can tell by the leaf and the thorns on the vine. And there's more right in here. There's some more blackberry vines right in here, mixed in this. You don't see the blackberries very often out here. As soon as they ripen, then they're eaten. They don't last long on the vine out here. I rarely see the blackberries out here on the vine. But that is a food source for humans and animals. Alright, so another food source is grass. Any of this grass out here like this wild grass, you can eat it. All animals eat grass, including us humans. We eat grass, the animals do. Like our dog, I know cats and dogs do. The deer and hogs eat it, all the animals eat it. You just want to make sure you're out here like this, out in the woods, away from any kind of vehicle exhaust. You don't want to eat grass around somebody's home where they could be spraying pesticides or something on it, or along a roadway where you're getting vehicles going by and getting all the exhaust fumes landing on the grass. You want to do it out here in the wild. Any of this grass like this is edible, so it's a food source for the animals and for us. Alright, so something else I want to show you too is to watch the edge of these tree lines like this, especially around the swamps. Animals that travel along the very edge of the swamp and the water. So you want to watch these tree lines when you're out here, especially when you get close like this. Really watch the edge of the tree lines for movement. And I'm not just talking about animals too, you could see something else. And the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot Sasquatch, I know they follow the hogs. The hogs are a big food source for them. So you could see them following the hogs around the edge of the trees, around the edge of the swamp. So always watch around the tree line. And that's a good spot to set up a game camera too, around the edge of a tree line like that. I catch a lot of animals on mine, moving around the edges. Alright, so I just walked by this. This to me looks like a probably a human did this trail marker. Probably for a trail marker, making a little arrow going that way. Because I'm at a spot here where the trail splits. So that's what I'm thinking, that a human probably did that. Out here hiking, they put a little arrow, made them a little arrow mark there to, so when they came back this way, they knew to take the left trail there. Alright, so let's talk about keeping direction too. Whether you're on a trail or whether you're off trail, you could be walking around up in there somewhere. But keeping direction, knowing where the sun is. And one thing I do is I try to get a mental picture in my mind where the truck is, and try to keep that in my mind as I'm out here traveling around, and I'll kind of know what direction my vehicle's in. So that's like right now, if I point that, I'm probably pointing about exactly where my truck is right now. If you were able to just go just a straight shot through the trees, you would come out where my truck is. If you just took a straight shot, like a bird flying over, that would be about where my truck is. So it's just kind of keeping a direction by knowing where your vehicle is. If you can know where the trails are, which way they're running, keep in mind where the sun's at. And if it's at nighttime, keep in mind where the stars are and the moon. And then if you're somewhere where you can see like a tower, a light from a tower at night, keep in mind what direction that tower's in. And you can just kind of keep a mental picture in your mind of where your vehicle is and where you're at. And that's just navigation by itself, without using a compass, without using a map, without using the Google Maps on your phone. Alright, so I'll talk more about the navigation too. Okay, since I'm talking about navigation, I wanted to show you on the phone, if you use Google Maps. Okay, so see, I'm at home right now, so it's showing me my home and the streets. So if we come up here to the green swamp. Okay, so it's showing you the streets, it's showing you the green for the wooded areas, stuff like that. But if you'll go up here and change that, go to satellite, and when I do Google Maps on my laptop, it comes up as terrain, I believe terrain. Anyway, go to satellite, and then see how it'll show it'll show the woods, and you can like zoom way in. And it'll show you still show you the roads. And then you can zoom way in where you can see trails and stuff. Because you can see it's showing you all the trees and all there. Alright, so let's see, here's a trail. There's a trail right there, going that way. You can see it through the trees there. Alright, so you'll be able to use that, and it'll show you the blue dot where you're at, so you can use that for your navigation when you're out there in the woods. whatever trail or wherever you're at. It'll show you your blue dot where you're at, and you'll be able to see it moving as far as like going down a trail. You'll be able to help tell what direction you're going and what the woods look like if you're at a cypress swamp, or if you're at a pine flats or whatever. So that's one thing I wanted to show you real quick, is the Google Maps. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my default. So all that is just switching to satellite view. Switching to satellite view while you're out there in the woods, so it'll show you the terrain. And like I said, it'll show you the blue dot where you're at. So as you're moving around, you'll see the dot moving to where you're at. Alright, so that's Google Maps. So it's really good to have a map and carry a compass with you, and even use your phone with the Google Maps. Alright, so that's a part of tracking too, is carrying your maps with you when you're out there. Alright, so it's always good to carry a compass. I've got a couple of these. And like this phone has a compass on it as well, the iPhone. But I like using this one out in the woods. I like using this compass. Alright, so something else too from my tracking video. I want to show you, when you're out here, look up in the trees and go out along every single branch and look for anything unusual. You can go out along each individual branch. That tree back over there, that big oak tree back there. I'll look out through every branch of it. These little trees, as you go up, looking out the branches. I come back here to that cypress tree. See how that little dead looking branch right there? I'll look out through it. I'll look at the branches up top. These trees over here. Look out at each individual branch for anything odd, or like a big clump or a shadow moving. Always look for any kind of stuff like that in the trees. And always looking up in the trees. That's something I learned hunting too. Always look up in the trees, look out through every branch. Every branch in the tree, look up through it, look for anything odd or unusual, or shadow moving, or like a little clump of fur or knot or anything like that. Anything different. Okay, so edible foods out here. These are called beauty berries. You can eat these. These are edible for humans and animals. They're called beauty berries. And some people will take them and make jelly out of them. I haven't tried it yet, but I hear the jelly's really good. That was a pine cone. But you can eat them. You can eat these beauty berries. And speaking of the pine cones, they got their little pine nuts in them. That was the pine cone that fell right there a minute ago into the palmettos. So the pine cones, when they fall, you can open them up and get the little nuts out of them. The little pine needle, the pine pine nuts out of them. They're edible for humans and animals. You see sometimes where the squirrels have tore the pine cones all apart, chewing them up, getting those pine nuts out. Very edible. Alright, so changed the GoPro battery out here. It died pretty quickly. Put the backpack back on. This right here is turkey tracks. And a lot of scratching and stuff that they do. They're out here feeding and walking around in the trail. Mosquitoes getting you.
Yeah, if I get the thumbs will come off.
See this bobcat track.
Yeah, there's some over here too. Deer track, I don't know if that's a hog track or a deer track.
That's a deer track. Yep, those are deer.
The bobcats, and you got turkeys.
Nice sized deer right there. A couple of them nice size.
Good sized turkey too.
Yep, turkey tracks and bobcat tracks right there together. Yep, bobcat. Did you get it? There's all bobcat and there's another deer tracks. Let me see. Yeah, it's on.
Oh, it is on? Oh.
Yeah.
I can't see that light sometimes. Which way are we going?
Over there, we're going to take the nature trail. Here's the buck scrape.
Heck yeah.
And then the limbs right above it here, where they leave scent on the limbs, and they scrape there and leave scent. The does come behind them and leave scent and pee in it. Here's the deer tracks right here in deer trail. This is probably all deer using this right there. It's all hooved. I can see a couple of them pretty good deer tracks. And then right here you get all these little chips of wood. All these little fresh chips of wood. That's all from a woodpecker working on the trees here above us. Hogs could be using this too. This is all hooves through here. A nice used trail right there. Quite a few animals coming in through here. This right through here is all animal tracks. There's a deer track right here. This is all hooved animals through here. The ticking you hear is the multimeter, the tri-field meter. It's a tri-field meter, not a multimeter. So I've got it on the RF readings, the radio frequency.
I'm staying near you in case I have to grab that camera.
This is really interesting looking right here. There's a little section here that's kind of covered by this downfall. Okay, so this one part here on my video, I'm going to show you the Merlin Bird App. Alright, and I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it through this whole scene here, and then I'll come back and show you the full original version there. Alright, so I'm going to hit Sound ID. There's now, yeah. There's another one.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Another owl over there.
They're talking to each other.
Yeah. And there's the first owl's up in there. But the trail I was telling you about is right up in there. You can't really tell from here, but I can see where it goes through there. We got two owls there talking to each other.
It's crazy. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is just so cute.
Alright, barred owl. I was starting to think it wasn't going to pick it up.
Did that sound fake?
It almost does, don't it?
This is New
So that one did pick it up as a barred owl. It didn't.
I was trying to tell
So
how
it must
high
not
the
have been
tree
fake.
is. Like almost straight through there.
It's kind of hard to tell. It might be real.
Yeah, it's hard to tell there.
So we thought they were real owls out there doing that, not being fake.
That one's moving further back.
But a couple of them were kind of hard to tell. Chloe.
I was wondering if we can walk around over here and try to spot him in the tree.
You do have a color.
I was trying to tell how high up in the tree he was.
So we were looking for the owls too, trying to get an eye on them and see where they were to get confirmation that that was really owls doing that. There it goes. Finally picked up on the hawks too. I was wondering about that. The red-shouldered hawk.
Trying to see if we can see him, if we can
Yeah,
spot him.
no, I'm looking way up too.
Yeah.
Up in the highest trees there. Up in behind.
It didn't sound like he was real high up in the tree.
Yeah, but he didn't sound that far away.
There's now.
Clear.
Yeah. There's another one.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Another owl over there.
They're talking to each other.
Yeah. And there's the first owl's up in there. But the trail I was telling you about is right up in there. You can't really tell from here, but I can see where it goes through there. We got two owls there talking to each other.
It's crazy. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is just so cute. Did that sound fake?
It almost does, don't it?
Listen to this.
I was trying to tell how high up in the tree it is. Like almost straight through there.
It's kind of hard to tell. It might be real.
Yeah, it's hard to tell there.
That one's moving further back.
I wonder if we can walk around over here and try to
Let's go.
spot him in the tree.
You go up and follow.
I was trying to tell how high up in the tree he was. Trying to see if we could see him, if we could spot
Yeah,
him.
no, I'm looking way up too.
Yeah.
Up in the highest trees there. Looking behind us.
It didn't sound like he was real high up in the tree.
Yeah, but he didn't sound that far away.
I think that was one off in the distance.
You think you see one?
I thought I heard one off in the distance. Anyway, we're trying to get our eyes on him just to make sure we are actually hearing the owl.
Look up here to make sure that ain't an owl.
Hmm?
Up there. I can't point it. Well, just okay. If
I think I see what you're pointing at. I think this is part of the tree.
I thought it was part of the tree, but
Alright, I just collected some of these oranges on the ground that look right. There's still quite a few on the ground. They've been falling off. All those up there, they look good and ripe too, good and orange.
they do.
But they should be a little bitter tasting because they're wild. They're still good though. I'll do a little pan around and show y'all. There's a few more fruit trees around. There's another small one there. I don't see any fruit on it. But these are wild. Down here, some of that.
What is
fern
that?
grass. Yeah, fern grass is what the one lady called it.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is a cabbage palm. This is a cabbage palm. So that's the fern grass right there. Growing out. Okay, so another thing I wanted to try here with the Merlin app. Since I got an owl right here that I filmed, I want to go to the photo ID. Alright, so let him get up pretty close where I can get a really good picture. And it says take photos, so I'll do that. Okay, so it's showing us the bar down. And that's not the same owl that we just heard in the video.